Goodbye, dear. Liam Park was the girlfriend of the boy who bullied me in high school. For a while, I even physically associated with her hatred. Until the vacation after the college entrance exam. I heard the news that she had drowned. When I arrived at the company on Monday, the manager said that a person in charge would be sent down from above. He told us all to tidy up our desks to show the importance of this assignment. The girl sitting next to me leaned over and whispered to me, "I heard that he's someone with a lot of connections, I just don't know if he's good looking." "I guess so," I said casually. After all, I didn't care if he was better looking than Eddie Peng or richer than Pony Ma. "I hope he's good looking, I really don't want a scary boss." I nodded without saying anything. When Ethan Leong was ceremoniously invited in, I froze in place for a moment, staring blankly at that face. A nightmare come true. Ethan Leong, the culprit who bullied me in high school, was in my life again. The supervisor reminded me with a disapproving look to sit down. The girl next to me kindly tugged on my sleeve to get my attention, and I said, "Sorry." If anyone noticed that my hands were shaking in my lap, would surely understand that I didn't mean to ruin the orientation. All afternoon, I was distracted. 16 years old. The stairwell, the boy's glaring malice, and the crisp slap were still fresh in my memory. Ethan Leong and I were high school classmates, or rather, old acquaintances who hated each other. In my first year, I was very introverted. Since I came from the countryside, I didn't have any friends long after the school year started. I sat in the last row of the classroom, by the window. It was a very warm place for me. As long as I wasn't in gym class, I often sat alone, writing and drawing. In fact, these days of obscurity and anonymity were not difficult for me. On the contrary, I was happy and comfortable. Things changed in the second semester of my freshman year when a girl from the capital transferred to our class. On the first day she arrived, she dropped a time bomb into the calm and unremarkable backwater of our class. She was beautiful and tall, with a ponytail tied at the back of her head. The reason was simple, she was beautiful and tall, with a ponytail tied at the back of her head. It was like a proud little peacock tilting its head. It was the time of youthful exuberance and activity, and beautiful things can steal someone's attention. Even I stared at her curiously for a long time that day. She had fair skin, narrow eyes, and was a standard beauty. A mole on her nose made her even more charming. She introduced herself with confidence. "Hello, everyone, my name is Liam Park. I'm very happy to meet you all, and I hope we can get to know each other well in the next few years of high school." In an instant, I could hear the whispers of my classmates. They were all saying the same thing, "She looks like a movie star." No, she looks more like a rich girl. Look at the shoes on her feet, they're limited edition and only came out last month. Yes, and that dress, I just saw it on a net celebrity wearing it yesterday. And so on and so forth. Liam Park's appearance naturally attracted the favorable attention of many boys. Although she was taller than some boys, there were still endless stream of people who wanted to woo her. More than once, I heard the boys in the back row privately betting on who would be the first to woo her. Among them was Ethan Leong. Once the end of the workday arrived, I practically fled into the elevator. By some fluke, the once handsome teenager had transformed into a more mature man. His features had the ease of an adult, and there was a youthful flavor in the details. "Long time no see," Ethan Leong said lightly. I tried my best to resist the urge to slap him, calmed down, said nothing, and pressed the floor button. "To be honest, it's quite comforting to see you again. You haven't changed, just like before. Still, timid." Ethan Leong stood behind me, doing nothing, and just a few words from him had me completely defeated. "Shut up." I turned around, my face red with pain. "You've improved." Ethan Leong didn't care about my anger, or perhaps he never had. The elevator arrived on the first floor, and Ethan Leong brushed past me. He said again, "Zoe Zhou, you're really a great actress." I didn't say anything, and I stared at him as he got into his car and drove off. Zoe Zhou, such a common and tacky name. I thought no one would remember it anymore. When Ethan Liang chased after Liam Park, the weather had already turned to the bright and warm month of April. In the spring of the South, the sun actually makes your skin itch when it shines. It was an ordinary afternoon. After a few simple gym class exercises, the students dispersed to do their own activities. As usual, I sat by the moss-covered flower bed, and the sun made my hair glow with a golden halo. I boredomly counted my fingers. The bell rang, and I stood up and followed the others walking towards the teaching building. I don't know who shouted, "Zoe Zhou, there's blood coming from the back of your butt." As soon as the words were spoken, the eyes of the students from all directions fell on me. Then came the boys' shrill laughter. "What bleeding butt? This is Zoe Zhou's symbol as a woman." "Ha ha ha, Zoe Zhou is a woman, I told you why she wouldn't play with us." For the first time in my life, I was loudly ridiculed in public. I was completely at a loss, my ears turning red. Some girls threw sympathetic glances at me. I looked at each of them, weak and helpless. No one came to my aid. Until, a girl's hearty and moving voice, mixed with a hint of anger, said, "Whoever looks at her again, I'll see what kind of person she is." The voice was crisp and soft, and it came close to my ear, speaking warmly. "Don't be afraid, I'll go to the toilet with you." It was Liam Park. She had a nice smell. "No need," I said, trying to be brave. I didn't want to show my worst side to a stranger. But Liam Park was much taller than me and stronger, and she spoke very gently. "What are you afraid of? We're both girls. I've had embarrassing moments like this before. Helping you is helping my old self." At that moment, it was hard for me to figure out how much of what she said was true. So, that day, with the help of Liam Park, I did not fall into an even more embarrassing situation. In the toilet cubicle, I changed into Liam Park's loose-fitting clothes. I thanked her stiffly. "I'll bring it home this weekend and wash it for you." "Thanks," I said dryly. Anyone else would have regretted helping me. Liam Park flashes a smile, bright and shiny in the light, and says, "What's the big deal?" She adds, "And the shirt looks great on you." She pushes me in front of the outside glass and shouts for me to look. A skinny girl in an ill-fitting pink. It's like a dying, withered flower. I smile awkwardly and say, "It does look good." Outside the hallway is Ethan Liang, the famous and powerful figure of the year, waiting. I looked at him secretly, and I didn't blame the many girls who secretly loved him. Some people, even if they are standing in the background of an old corridor, will still be the protagonist. When they saw us come out, more precisely Liam Park came out. He was well prepared and handed over a bunch of snacks sealed in plastic bags. "I heard someone say that you weren't feeling well, so I bought you some food." The young boy's intentions were obvious. Liam Park didn't take it, but pulled me to go, so Ethan Liang's target switched to me, and he thrust it into my hands. "Please," he said with his mouth. I've always been timid, so I couldn't refuse him outright. I walked awkwardly to the classroom with the snacks in my right hand and Liam Park holding my left. I put the snacks in my bag and waited until the evening study session was about to start. I hesitated before catching up to Liam Park and asking her. "That boy, I still have the snacks." I opened the zipper, but Liam Park stopped me and shook her head. "Keep it, I don't like sweets." "But he gave it to you." I am stubborn in part of my personality, not to mention that these are two people who have nothing to do with me. "If he gave it to me, it's my stuff, and I have the right to transfer it to you," she said. That night in the nest, I ate this pile of not inexpensive snacks for the first time. It was very sweet and greasy. But I stuffed them all into my belly, making it bulge. I was 16 years old, poor, and suffering from puberty. I was staying with relatives and had a very common name, Zoe Zhou. That was all I had. When I reunited with Ethan Liang, I didn't even have a friend to confide in. I tossed and turned in bed in the middle of the night. when I received a WeChat friend request from an unfamiliar person with a black profile picture. It was Ethan Leong, who had reapplied. I really don't understand these second-generation rich kids who have it all. Why, after all these years, are they still unwilling to disappear from my pale life? I didn't agree, and considering my current situation, I didn't dare to block him. I turned off the screen and pretended to be asleep. In fact, the 16-year-old Zoe Zhou repeatedly screamed and yelled at me from the depths of my heart. Before the end of the whole spring, Ethan Leong didn't even get to chase after Liam Park. There are only a few small groups in the class, and they either gossip or enjoy the show. Here, Ethan Leong has been chasing after Liam Park for 10 days and half a month without making a move. The attention of the classmates has shifted to me, who hover around Liam Park and Ethan Leong. Liam Park is still the goddess who stands above everyone else, but the difference is that she has an expendable friend in me. Occasionally, a group of pretty faces gather around her chatting. She will suddenly tilt her head and beckon. "Ching, you should join in." I don't know how to say no, so I often sit on the outside and listen to them talk about cosmetics and celebrities. Liam Park is the least talkative, but she is still the center of attention. She comes from New York City and has seen many things that small towns don't have. For example, convenience stores that are open 24 hours a day, and bustling holidays with singing and dancing. There are also many new and interesting things that we have never seen. Actually, it's not that bad. "It's pretty much the same as here," she said, speaking simply like a swan, leaving a lingering aftertaste. Her female classmates pestered her, saying, "It's not the same at all. Look at Zoe Zhou, she never wears makeup." "Right, Xiaoqing, what hair conditioner do you use?" another girl asked. For a moment, the conversation shifted to me. I was stunned. Hair conditioner? I couldn't lie, I've never used it. Really? There are girls who wash their hair without hair conditioner. No wonder your hair is in such bad condition. Doesn't your mother care about you? One girl asked. My mother, I thought about my mother working at the blind massage therapy clinic in the small town, and was momentarily speechless. By the way, your parents have never been to school. Someone picked up the thread. As they spoke, my head was about to explode with all the things they were saying, and I didn't know how to find an excuse. Or maybe it's just that I've had so little contact with the outside world. I know what hair conditioner is. But I don't know how much it costs or what brands there are. I also didn't know that mothers teach their daughters how to put on makeup and dress up. What can I say to get out of this verbal knife fight? They all fell silent, waiting for me to accidentally reveal my inferiority and poverty. Fortunately, Liam Park, who had been watching me, spoke up. You're making Xiaoqing nervous. There's still plenty of time, so everyone will have plenty of opportunities to get to know each other in the future. With Liam Park's intervention, everyone soon forgot about the interrogation they had just subjected me to. In fact, after that day, there was no way I could hide in my own utopia anymore. The news of my father's death and my mother being blind spread like wildfire. Most importantly, they discussed my mother working at a massage therapy clinic. At that time, young and ignorant boys and girls. They were curious about places like massage therapy clinics and salons that adults mentioned in jest. Although, the place where my mother worked was a regular blind shop. But human nature is malicious. Zoe Zhou, I heard that your mother works in a massage therapy clinic. How many clients does your mother usually have a day? A boy finished with a laugh, which attracted loud laughter. You should learn your mother's trade. It's a waste to come to school. Someone chimed in, joining the chorus. I sat in my seat. It was May, but my heart was cold. There was no way to stop the rumors with just my lips. You don't have a father because your mother works in this industry. Do you mind? Ha ha ha. I should say her father is one of the clients. They went on to make up things that weren't true. I couldn't hold back anymore and stood up. I cheered myself up and blushed, but could only stammer out, You're talking nonsense. It's all just rumors. I said loudly, but I was playing along with the rumor game. The students who thought they were decent people stood together first. I refuted everything, which in their eyes was like a dog in a corner. I took the next day off work. I really couldn't find a reason to face Ethan Leong. I instinctively resisted meeting with him. I didn't sleep well the first night, and my dreams revisited the high school period I feared most. But the more I fear something, the more it comes. Ethan Leong called my phone directly, and I refused to answer, so he called again and again. When the phone rang for the sixth time, I couldn't ignore it and picked up. It was the same horrible voice as a viper's heart. Open the door, I'm in front of your house. You're crazy, I'm going to sue you. Go ahead and sue, Zoe Zhou, I'm curious too. It's either you can take it or I can. He was right, those old memories were too distant. I stood shakily and opened the door. Ethan Leong was sitting on the sofa, expressionlessly scrutinizing me. I lowered my head. I asked him, what do you want in order to let me go? Let you go? Ethan Leong laughed like he heard the funniest joke in the world. Zoe Zhou, you think you can change your name? And erase the truth? I laughed and cried, my nose tingling. I retorted, did you lead the bullying against me? His face froze for a moment, and he didn't say a word. He turned his head and looked outside at the bright weather. Yes, after the rumors about me spread among the students in my class. My life never returned to normal. But it was mostly verbal isolation. Our school was one of only 2 high schools in the small town. Many of the students did not come from wealthy families. Therefore, no one dared to actually hit me, to slap me in the face. Instead, the petty insults were always around. Liam Park was the only girl who would stand up for me. She was brave and righteous. Like the fearless hero cops in old movies. Once again, it was the 10-minute break between classes. Some boys were giving each other knowing looks. And the cup I had dropped was knocked over. She helped me sit back down and picked up the cup that had been deliberately knocked over. She glared at the group of smirking boys. Are you having fun like this? 17 or 18 years old, and still taking pleasure in bullying the weak. The leader of the group interrupted her. Hey, there's a champion of justice. Oh, there's a champion of justice. I advise you to stop hanging out with her, her mother does that kind of work. Who knows what kind of germs she has at home. The sports committee member stood behind me provocatively and kicked the bench leg. Beware of infection, chronic illness. I closed my eyes tightly, and everyone around me obviously took a cold breath. You, Liam Park wanted to scold back for me. Someone outside shouted that the homeroom teacher was here, and the crowd dispersed. On the way to the evening study session, I consciously walked through the alley behind the school. Liam Park ran up from behind, panting, and said, "This road is very dangerous. Why are you walking here?" I gave up on myself and looked at her vacantly. I have chronic illness. Don't you come near me. What nonsense are you talking, Zoe Zhou, they are all crazy. How can you say that about yourself when others say it's okay? Liam Park seemed to be shocked by my self-abandonment as well. She pounced on me and hugged me. She was very tall, like a mother's embrace, so firm and so strong. The night wind blew, chilling. I heard her say in a small voice. "Xiaoqing, it's okay, I'll be by your side." In the moonlight, the young girl was speechless. Her face felt cold and clammy, and I realized it was my tears. After that night, Liam Park and I got along even better. She ignored the comments from her classmates. She stuck close to me. I kept telling her, "Don't get close to me." She pretended to be dumb and asked why. I pursed my lips and fell silent. Because she was a very, very good person, I didn't want to bring her bad luck like mine. I don't care what other people say. Liam Park ignored everyone and rested his huge body against my shoulder. He continued, "They won't play with you, but I will. I'm the only one who has you." I didn't say anything. At that time, I was not only grateful for her kindness, but also had inexplicable emotions. Liam Park was the sun, the moon, and the breeze. As a result, Ethan Leong approached me again. Although you are a bit of a bumpkin, can you help me? Ethan Leong was asking me to help him woo Liam Park. He liked Liam Park. He spoke with such sincerity. The boy's eyes were shining, and I nodded and said, I'll try. On the way home from the evening study session, the night wind was blowing. After much hesitation, I took Liam Park's hand and asked, looking up at him, what do you think of Ethan Leong? Liam Park was stunned by my sudden question for a long time before he came back to his senses and said, I have no interest in him. No interest? I was puzzled. Ethan Leong comes from a well-off family, which is one of the best conditions in a small town. But he's chasing you pretty hard, I added. Liam Park said nonchalantly, if he does, just say no. She smiled, stepping on my shadow. She added, you have the right to say no. I responded, The next day, Ethan Leong got my social media account from somewhere and asked me, do you know what Cheng Shuan likes? I sat in the small room, looked at it, and didn't reply. After a while, I picked up my phone and deleted and edited. I typed out another sentence, you'd better not keep him from studying. I was afraid it was too blunt. I sent another expression that was half smile, half frown. There was no more message from him. I secretly regretted meddling in their causal relationship. No matter how you look at it, they looked so good together. It was not an exaggeration to say they were a perfect match. I felt bad about it for a while. And then, the terrible revenge came. The top floor of the dilapidated science building. A group of boys and girls surrounded me, discussing everything about me. From my appearance to my family background. Ethan Leong was at the top, watching everything with a cold stare. It went without saying that this was from his hand. What are you staring at? I'm giving you face. Said the boy who spoke, and with a strong hand, he slapped me on the head, making me feel dizzy. Look at your shabby appearance. What are you doing pestering Liam Park every day? What year is it, and you're still wearing shoes that have faded? As soon as the man finished his mocking words, I cowered and looked down, not daring to argue. Clearly, none of this was my fault. Big teardrops slid down my face hopelessly. Someone else tugged on my hair and dragged me towards Ethan Leong. That person seemed to be taking credit. One slap, two slaps, the fourth slap, I could no longer stand. My legs fell limp and I collapsed. It was a stormy day, and the teacher usually didn't come here. And no one would come. I bit my lips and held back my voice, afraid to cry out. Ethan Liang's eyes on me were unruffled. He looked at me like I was dead. I heard him speak in a very lazy tone. You don't listen to me, do you? You don't listen to me, good or bad, are you satisfied now? I looked up at him, my eyes bloodshot. I wanted to engrave him firmly in my eyes, this was a hatred. I stubbornly said, Ethan Leong, you only dare to bully me behind my back. What kind of good person are you? He laughed and said, Zoe Zhou, I'm not a good person. You guessed it right. I gave Liam Park some snacks before, and you ate them, didn't you? After he finished speaking, someone exclaimed, oh my God, Zoe Zhou, is your family that poor? You're also envious of other people's snacks. No wonder Mom has to go out and sell. I think you should quit school and just go sell like your mom. The more they said, the more outrageous it became, as if I had really committed an unforgivable sin. But obviously, it was all made up. I looked at him and said, word for word. Ethan Leong, you will get your comeuppance. Will Ethan Leong really get his comeuppance? I can't say for sure, but I don't think so. His family is so rich, otherwise how could they face my feeble resistance? He didn't even bat an eyelid. That day, for the first time in my life, I skipped class. I sat in the corner of the rooftop, 4 or 5 stories up. The view was nothing but mountains outside the small town, endless. It was almost time for the evening study session. Liam Park panted as he held the handle of the rooftop iron gate. She was very loud and urgent. Zoe Zhou, what are you doing? Do you know how long I've been looking for you? I turned around and didn't say a word. I quietly gazed at her. She was really beautiful. If she were a boy, he would definitely be a popular guy. No wonder Ethan Liang wanted to be with her no matter what. Don't blame me for being shallow, she is beautiful. The wind blowing across every inch of her skin was the icing on the cake. Liam Park ran over, saw that I wasn't talking, and touched my high and swollen face. He was angry and anxious. Who bullied you? You told me that I wasn't afraid of offending the whole school. No need, I said. Then I added, no teacher asked about it. Liam Park carefully traced the finger marks on his cheeks. My indifferent attitude left him at a loss. It's the middle of the semester, and you're still thinking about school. You really do care about yourself, she said. When she said this, I saw an emotion in her eyes. Pain. The same pain that my mother felt for me. My heart tightened, as if I were dreaming, and I kissed her lips. Overcome by emotion. I don't know if it was out of sentimentality or because my heart was racing. I can't even explain it myself. It was soft and plump, with a faint peach scent. It turns out that a first kiss is a kind of fruit. Then Liam Park is a peach. Xiao Qing, you, her cheeks were flushed, and she swallowed the rest of her words. In that minute, she became the sunset in the sky. My senses returned, and I took a half step back, pushing her away in a panic, leaving only an apology. Liam Park tried to take my hand, but I shook her off with brute force. I lost my nerve. I was filled with remorse. Apart from being bullied, the thing that hurt me most was that I was just an ordinary, timid kid. My life with my mom was monotonous and simple. I couldn't handle the slightest storm, and I regretted kissing Liam Park a little. It was wrong. After that, Liam Park spoke to me as usual, but I chose to avoid her. The closer she got, the more I wrapped myself up. She sent me a lot of messages, but I didn't reply to any of them. Liam Park always watched me from a distance, her gaze burning. It was impossible to ignore. The end of senior year, the eve of the academic track split. Liam Park asked me to meet her at the milk tea shop at the back of the school. On the way there, I walked and stopped, wanting to see her. It had been a long time since I had spoken to her face to face. I missed those days of joking and laughing in the sun. But I was afraid to see her. Liam Park and I were not the same after all. Liam Park was wearing a brown floral dress, her hair pulled up, and she had put on a light layer of makeup. With her pretty eyebrows and eyes, she asked me flatly why I ignored her. My heart trembled, and I made up my mind to tell her. Qingshuan, we are not the same. She was confused and asked again, what's the difference? My heart sank, and I found it hard to express my feelings. I spoke, mumbling indistinctly. Qingshuan, the sun cannot shine on a mouse. I'm very grateful for what you've done. But it seems to have deviated from my original path. I should be a plain-looking Zoe Zhou in the 7th grade, not the Zoe Zhou who is being criticized. She gave a sharp, piercing look and said, Zoe Zhou, do you think being with me is a source of misfortune? I hurriedly shook my head and waved my hands, saying, I've never thought like that. I'm just not used to being with two people. Although we won't be friends in the future. I still hope that you can be happy every day. Before I could finish my sentence, Liam Park got up, his beautiful eyes staring at me without saying a word. A flash of stubbornness flashed in his eyes. The pain was a twitching of my heart. I had mixed feelings about Liam Park. Was it love? No. The confused emotions of adolescence had not established correct values, and were more like the unknown. I would rather be numb to the pain of being awake. So, in the 2nd year of high school, Liam Park and I were not in the same class, and I was still isolated and excluded. In the meantime, Ethan Leong and his friends came to visit once or twice. He still looked aloof, his words sharp and vicious. He was determined to trample me underfoot. I said, Ethan Leong, I'm not your imaginary enemy. Ethan Leong smiled coldly and said, don't you find life boring? I understood. His revenge had turned into entertainment. He was born with a silver spoon, and happiness and money came easily to him. Simple material things could no longer satisfy the happiness threshold of this type of person. I was grabbed by the scalp, kicked in the kneecaps to get down on my knees, and my hands were rubbed on the ground with stones, leaving skin abrasions. There are deep and shallow scars. I can't erase them, I can't wipe them off, and I'm left alone in the corner, 16 or 17-year-old Zoe Zhou, crying. I hate him to death. The palms of my hands are hot, reminding me of all the past ordeals. They were cruel, bloody, and full of devastation. Ethan Leong sat in my house for less than half an hour before leaving. He knew he was in the wrong, and before he left, he looked at me. My pupils shrank and then dilated. It was meaningful. I sat on the sofa, looked at him gently, and sniffed, saying, Ethan Leong, if you really like me, don't bother me again. I didn't stop, regardless of whether he cared about what I said, and continued talking to myself. There have been many incidents like this between us before. The best ending is to go our separate ways and never see each other again. He paused, and the veins in his hand, which was resting on the doorknob, stood out. I had finally poked holes in the thing he most wanted to deny. That someone as good-looking as him could actually fall in love with me, someone he looked down on and personally bullied. How ironic. Ethan Leong thought he was hiding it well, but in fact, it was not. It was too fake. No one would repeatedly make things difficult for someone who was a nobody in the class. Unless, he had special feelings for this girl. Ethan Liang's relationship with Liam Park started in the third year of high school, to be precise. One was pretty, the other handsome, and most importantly, they were both in the prime of youth. They were both in love, and it was rumored among the students. The school is a small place, with the upper floors connected to the lower floors by the playground, the cafeteria, the school store, and the schoolyard. So if you want to meet someone, you meet them. One Friday afternoon, I was brushing up on my lessons in the corridor when I ran into Ethan Leong, who had come to smoke. He didn't say anything, and he smoked the whole cigarette. In the white mist, his eyes looked a little sad. I thought he was looking for trouble. I picked up my densely written books and walked downstairs. Ethan Leong was quick, and with one hand he pulled my school uniform over to him. Are you that afraid of me? He asked, smiling wickedly. I flinched and struggled, avoiding his words. You're already with Liam Park, so when are you going to stop teasing me? Ethan Leong raised an eyebrow, and there was a hint of annoyance in his eyes. He let up a little on the strength of his grip, and said, just sit here and read. I cautiously pulled my leg and tried to leave again, but Ethan Liang's strength came back. He was impatient. Do you hate me that much, huh? I felt funny, because it was obvious that he bullied me first, scolded me, and indulged his friends in trampling my soul and tearing my flesh. I laughed in anger and said, what are you crazy about? Are you going to bully me again, Ethan Leong? I've had enough luck in life already, so can you stop bullying me for fun? I'm busy. My voice got louder and louder as I imagined the slap that didn't land on my face. He didn't say anything, just let me vent. After a moment of silence, he said, go on. I was afraid that he was going to go crazy again, so while he wasn't paying attention, I took a running start and sprinted down the stairs, ignoring the crisp music made by the ballpoint pen and the ground. The next second, I crashed into a soft, long-lost peach-scented embrace. I looked up and locked eyes with Liam Park. Our relationship was revealed in high school, and we have been friends for a long time. This is the only way I can describe my relationship with her. A short-lived friendship. Why did you run so fast? She clamped my arm and lowered her head, nervously asking me. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She was as kind and gentle as before. Ethan Leong really doesn't deserve to be with her. I thought subconsciously. I stuttered, tensing up and forgetting the pace of the stairs. She had lost a lot of weight, the advantages of her facial features were magnified. And a pink sweater was worn underneath her school uniform. It's nothing, I simply mumbled. Liam Park followed my hesitant words and looked at Ethan Leong, just as he extinguished his cigarette butt. Liam Park reacted, sternly saying, "You're bullying her." Ethan Leong didn't admit or deny it, and he said something that I couldn't figure out. Is it interesting? Liam Park, a losing hand. I was confused by the conversation. Liam Park's eyes were full of light, his tone cold, and he implied a hint of anger. Ethan Leong, you dare to try. These two attractive faces were in love, but instead of sweet words, Ethan Liang's cold words directed at Liam Park were something I didn't expect. I opened my mouth, wanting to say something, but the words stuck in my throat. This brief encounter could not shake my determination to go to college. I wanted to go to a faraway city, take my mother with me, and go to the warm coastal area. During the last semester of my senior year, my mother left the remote small rural town for the first time. She took a 2-hour bus ride. She slaughtered a chicken and a duck, wrapped them in plastic bags, layer after layer. Her wrinkled face was marked by the wind, frost, and rain, and my heart ached. 2 tears fell on the back of my hand, and my mother, as if by telepathy, asked me what was wrong. I shook my head and said, "It's nothing, I just haven't seen you in a long time." Living with my uncle's family always caused a lot of inconvenience. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It just wasn't as good as junior high school, when I had never seen a whiter sky. Whenever it was the weekend, I would cook 2 dishes and deliver them to the massage therapy clinic. After my mom finished eating, she would bounce back home. Time passed really quickly, and I felt so aggrieved over the past 3 years. In the end, I could only tell myself quietly, "Please be patient for a little while longer." In the small town of early spring, there is a kind of cold that is damp and gloomy, and the ground is always wet. My mother cannot see the hidden tears in my eyes. And she murmurs in my ear about this and that. She talks about the old town, saying that the old grandfather who sells tofu has had several puppies. She also says that the current mayor is about to retire. She talks about a lot of things, but never about herself. At the station before departure, I leaned over to my mother's earlobe and whispered, "Wait for me." In the same way, Zoe Zhou waited. I humbly prayed. In June, after the last heavy rain, I came out of the exam hall. As I walked through the bustling crowd, a hand grabbed me. I turned around and Liam Park was holding a bouquet of flowers. She smiled shyly and said, "My mother bought 2 bouquets. This one is for you, to wish you good luck in the exam. Can we have a meal? I want to talk to you." There was a hint of hesitation in her eyes as she weighed her words. "Thanks, but I appreciate the thought." I looked past her to the broad-shouldered woman behind her. I looked up and said bluntly, "Qingshuan, why did you spread rumors about me?" After I said that, I realized that my mouth was trembling uncontrollably. I didn't care about the panic in her eyes, I just turned around and walked away. But I never imagined that would be the last time I would see Liam Park, during the long summer vacation. The news of Liam Park's accidental drowning was spread in the class group chat. Liam Park died so simply. Liam Park died in the summer vacation after the college entrance exam. During that time, it rained endlessly in the small town. I was working as a waiter at a restaurant during the summer holidays, and that's when I met Liam Park's mother. Her expression was numb, as if it had died after running out of tears. She waited for me at the small door to the kitchen. Dressed all in black to describe her misfortune. I was apprehensive and didn't want to face it. I couldn't avoid the strange looks from the people in the kitchen. The first thing she said to me was exactly what I expected, word for word, "I didn't want to come to you." She took out a notebook. Then she said, "But I found this. The boy Qingshuan has always liked you. Do you know? I lowered my eyes, turned my back, and glanced at the pink notebook. It was the diary I had lost when I was in the higher grade. It was well preserved, and at a glance it was clear that the owner behind it must have loved it very much. I suddenly wanted to cry, but I held back. Auntie, I don't know. I rarely lie, especially when it's Liam Park's mother standing in front of me. I added 2 more sentences. Auntie, please accept my condolences. Qingshuan has always been arrogant. Even if he was saddened by trivial matters such as love, he would never commit suicide. Her mother had already lost patience and was no longer speaking to me gently. He suddenly spoke the harsh truth. Qingshuan is actually a boy, but he has had gender dysphoria since childhood. He can't tell if he is a boy or a girl. I know him, he's definitely not gay. I was stunned, and I vaguely recalled the bits and pieces of my time with Liam Park, his tall figure, his flat physical features, his evasive words. So, he was a boy.